between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. And no run back on this one, so the new season will begin at the 25-yard line. They start the drive on the ground. It's Williams. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
Well, the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back there and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
That's going to be taken in by Felton. 7 yards there and a first down.
Well, partner, that's the start that you want right there. And you know he spent the entire offseason throwing hundreds, I'd probably say thousands of passes, getting ready for that moment. The first throw of the new season. He's dreamed about it, thought about it, and now it's out of the way.
1 for 1, a lot more to go. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now they'll toss it out right to Williams. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. That's going to go as a loss of 6, and it'll set him back for second down.
How about the job there on the outside? Shed the wide receiver and was able to make the tackle on the perimeter.
Off the play fake. Here's Wilson. Rolling to his left. Throw left side complete. That's Williams. And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4. He was out there waving his arms, and when you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space.
He rifles one that's intercepted. And the Chiefs are going to take possession of the football. Not something you see very often from a quarterback of his caliber, an opening drive interception.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that even he's surprised at how that one played out. But we know this guy is not going to stop him from continuing to fire as this game goes along. Probably give a little nod of respect across the field for that one and let him know he'll be back the very next series.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Looking to throw is Mahomes. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. Give him 13 yards there and a Kansas City first down.
I like the screen being called here early in the game, especially on the opening drive, because, Brandon, when guys come out of the locker room, especially those pass rushers, they are so amped up to get to the quarterback that you can use that against them, and a screen pass is a great way of doing it. A lot of teams against good pass rushing teams, they want to run the screen 10 to 12 times in a game.
8 yards the gain on that last run. Here's 2nd and a couple. Here's Mahomes to throw. Got an open man. It's Valdez-Scantling. And the Chiefs are going to be set up with a 1st and goal here as the tackle made at the 9.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
And not a whole lot there. He does get a couple, taking it from the 5 down to the 3. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that 2nd down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
And he'll just throw this one over in the way of the security crew. Incomplete here. So they opted to pass for it on 3rd and goal. Let's see what they do on 4th and goal.
Well, I think they threw it with the idea that if they didn't get it, they would go for it on 4th and goal. So they've got another play in their pocket. They're going to have to call it right now. No field goal here.
So on 4th down, Mahomes off, Harrison Butker on for the Chiefs field goal. From the left hash, he'll have to cut this at a tight angle. Butker's kick here is good, and the Chiefs are out to a 3-0 lead. So an opening drive field goal maybe doesn't whip this crowd into a frenzy, but I think that they will take the early lead.
There's no doubt about it. They will always take the early lead, and maybe that celebration comes later if they play well and they can break things open. But right now, this is all about letting the offense just get settled in.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
Play action. It's Wilson. And it's hauled in by Austin Hooper. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. Give them 14 yards there and a Denver first down.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
They go play action with Wilson. And the Chiefs are going to get him. Frank Clark fighting his way home to get the sack. Defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back.
So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. They go play action now. Wilson. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down.
Well, that's absolutely going to fire this defense up. They made it their mission to deny that completion, and they came through with a nice hit and knocked it incomplete.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now it's Wilson. Going for the deep ball. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
No surprise at all. They're looking for the big man early in this one. The only surprise for them, he couldn't hang on to the pass.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. Pulled in at the 24. 35 yards that time on the punt. And it's Chiefs football. 1st and 10. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And, Charles, nothing like squaring off with a division opponent, a division rival in Week 1. Do you like that they are matching up this early, or would you prefer a game like this be a few weeks down the road?
I actually like the early matchup for a few reasons, Brandon. First of all, it allows you to see that the entire offseason and know, hey, right out of the gate, we're playing a division game. Second part is it spreads them out a little bit. If you just have them all bunched up at the end of the year, that's not as much fun watching teams try to survive that gauntlet when you do have injuries down the stretch. And last but not least, let's face it, we're TV people. What a great game to sell right out of the gate.
Now 2nd and 11 from the 32. Now here's Mahomes. Taking a deep shot here for Hardman. And this is taken in at the 5. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Harrison Butker is on for the extra point. And he's 1 for 1 on the new year as his kick is good. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Nothing for them yet from an offensive standpoint, down 10-zip as they come up 1st and 10. Oh, heck of a move.
Man.
And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. The drive starting play, a good one. Give him 19.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get into him in space, let him use his legs.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
So they'll get 8 out of that completion, and they'll be left with 2nd and a couple. A give to Williams, running right. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
They stick to the ground game on 1st down. It's Williams. And a good pickup there. He gets about 6 up to midfield.
They've created a nice sustained drive off of plays like that. A nice strong run there that keeps them advancing the ball.
The last run got 6. Now 2nd and 4. From midfield now, here's Wilson. It's caught over the middle. Hooper. And they'll get this down to the 42-yard line. Usually see those guys out wide get called for holding on running plays. Here, a passing play.
Yeah, sometimes we get this quick screen, bubble screen, anything where they're having to block for their fellow receiver, usually at the point of attack, and this time he got caught.
Now Wilson. Into a sea of defenders and intercepted. That's Joshua Williams with a pick. And the Chiefs will have the football as this is taken up past the 30.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball. And I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco, 69 yards. And the Chiefs are looking good here in the season opener as they're able to extend their lead. An extra point by Butker is on target. And that makes our score 17-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And this is going to be returned from middle of the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
No, but well, let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. It'll go as a gain of 4, and it's 2nd down.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly and made a nice, sure tackle.
Finding his big receiver, Patrick, over the middle. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a 1st down.
I think that's a big pickup for a 1st down, because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a 1st down, executed it to perfection. And he can only and managed to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground, but I think the play gets made by the defensive front because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
Meanwhile, Wilson's throw taken in here by Patrick. And he'll be tackled on the other side of midfield at the 46-yard line.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Steps away. It's caught by Hooper. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. 18 big yards on that one, and a Denver first. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They go back to the ground with Williams. Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Here's Wilson to throw. That one caught by Felton. And he's going to be marked down just outside the 10.
And when you're throwing the ball downfield really well like they have been on this drive, it's really a nice time to work one of the screen plays in. One of my favorite play callers in the game has always told me he starts every game with 10 to 12 screens because if he starts feeling the pressure from the defense, he uses their aggressiveness against them.
Now a 1st down carry. It's Williams. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. Now 2nd and 9 from the 10. Well, now they'll try the end around. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop it behind the line. Now another timeout called for by the offense as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Wilson finding his safety valve here. That's complete. Touchdown! Demetric Felton, an 11-yard touchdown. And the Broncos are on the board here in the final minute of the first half. The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed. A lot of football, a full half to be played. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. And with a 17-7 lead, maybe they're just looking to get into the locker room. Mahomes' throw taken in by Valdez-Scantling. The Chiefs will use the first of their timeouts as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. First down for the Chiefs. Solid chunk of yardage. 17 on the play. Throwing now is Mahomes. He'll let this go for the end zone. And incomplete on the deep ball.
A very limited time left to get into field goal range before the half, and they tried to get it all on one throw right there.
Mahomes again here on 2nd and 10. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete, but the contact is going to move the ball well downfield. So now then the penalty's got him set up with a 1st and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. Now with 5 seconds left, not really enough time to run another play and then stop it. So on comes the field goal unit. Butker's kick here is good. And that will open the lead up now to 20-7. So a capper there to a pretty good first half.
And I love the way that they put a chokehold on the clock and pretty much drained everything before they put the field goal on the board as they headed into the half.
So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend as we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth ready for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision, loses him about 4 yards. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. This offense set to begin the third quarter, and Charles, if they had a checklist of things they wanted to accomplish in the first half, certainly at the top of that list would be having the lead, and they've got that here.
That's always the most important box to check, isn't it? But also, they've had some success in their passing game, so probably an empty box establishing the run. They're on pace for fewer than 100 yards in this one. So now they want to make sure that they get that going so they truly have a control in this ball game. And down the stretch, being able to be balanced, either throw it or run it, and try and win this ball game.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. Good contain. No gain on the screen, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And I know that one didn't work out the way they thought, but I don't think it was a bad time to call this play. You're thinking on 3rd down, you might possibly see some pressure. You might see a blitz. So they tried to set up the screen, but that one was well read.
Now a hit and a loose football.
And that's what friends are for.
Hey, as the returner, you know who you're buying dinner for later.
Oh, without a doubt, because he just took care of you and your team in a big way. You know, you turn it over there, that's a big momentum changer and put your defense in a bad spot.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. They'll try to get this running game going with Williams. And he'll be corralled right around the 34. Give him 10 yards there, and about by the nose of the football, he's going to have a 1st down.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Throwing is Wilson. He'll get this one to Patrick. Will go down as a gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
They kept the receiver in the short field, but that let his quarterback get the ball quickly to him before either guy in double coverage could react.
They'll come up on a 2nd and 4 now from the 40-yard line. Wilson He's going to flip one out here to his running back. A 6-yard pass on back-to-back plays. Picks up the first.
They certainly had success throughout this contest, getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another first down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
Open man downfield is Judy. He's got it. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. It's a gain of 35.
Well, he reminded us that he was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago as he starts off week 1 picking up right where he left off. He told us at the end of the preseason he was primed for a big year. He just gave us excellent evidence of his belief.
Brought down by Willie Gay.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
From the 17, Wilson, and he's wrapped up, taken down, back at the 25. Multiple players getting home there for an 8-yard loss.
All about the offense so far this drive, putting something sustained together. But the defense, they responded on that play. Second and manageable became 3rd and long. The drive marching to the end zone is one play from stalling out.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Yeah, this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
Well, they certainly aren't letting up today, partner, because they've forced big turnovers already. And it's been incredibly tough for them to get yards against, let alone put points up on the board.
And he missed it. It's no good. And the deficit will hold pat at 13. Down here in the 3rd quarter, obviously that's one they could have used.
Yeah, one of my favorite special teams coaches in the NFL told me what separates the kickers in the NFL versus the ones who are not is not the misses. It's the second miss in a row. Best kickers in the league, they don't miss 2 in a row. He's got to get his head back together in case he gets another shot.
And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the 1st half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
And now here's a deep shot that's complete. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. That's a tough combination to defend. You know Patrick Mahomes has the big arm, and he's got the elusiveness and the speed. So even though you force him from the pocket, he's still dangerous.
Bad idea, in my opinion, to force him from the pocket. Do everything possible to hem him in and make him make the throws from right there in the center of it. And look, we know he's got the big arm. You just noted that. But when he gets outside, it puts so much stress on your defense trying to locate where receivers are, make sure you're covering them, and he can throw the ball the length of the field, so you just tell a receiver, just keep going. He'll find it, and he did there.
Room to run at the 50. Still going inside the 30. And they are not going to catch him. He's in. Touchdown, Broncos.
And as we've talked to special teams coaches, that theme of being aggressive continues to come through, doesn't it? When they moved the kickoff back to the 35, it was going to cut down on the number of opportunities. But if you've got a special guy, you give him the green light no matter where he fields in the end zone. And in this case, it paid off handsomely.
Well, he fielded it deep in the range of emotions. Maybe like, oh, no, don't. And then all of a sudden you see him break it. You're like, yeah, way to go.
Yeah, sometimes you have to remind your head coach that he approved the green light for bringing it out from deep in the end zone. And that's exactly why he did.
KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. And they've got the lead here getting late into the 3rd quarter. And the passing game for them, it's been terrific. We've seen that, but the rushing game almost non-existent.
And with the lead and trying to finish this game off, they need the running game to come back to life. They need to get sparked that way, take some time off the clock, and keep the ball away from their opponents.
Right back to him on 1st down. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
From the 35 on second down, Mahomes. And this one caught by Travis Kelce. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. First catch of the new season for him, and he picks up the first.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
I think he's as fine with that incompletion as a quarterback can be, in all honesty. He avoided his first sack of the game, and he did have a chance of connecting for yardage, just unable to on that throw.
And he's going to be stopped here for no gain. And that's going to take us to the end of the third quarter of play. We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now, right where this set of downs started, they need a full 10 here to pick up the first down and move the chains. Throwing is Mahomes on third. They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And this won't be enough. A good secure tackle, and they stop him a few yards shy at the 46. That'll bring up fourth down. They wind up getting 8 yards, but they needed more than that. Here's the Chiefs punter now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news, but this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give him that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Operating from the 27 now. Here's 2nd and 3. Now a 10th carry. Here's Williams. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1. He really hasn't been able to get on track running the football and averaging less than 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, I think that they're going to enjoy the film session because all the defenders are filling their proper gaps on just about every play. And you know what they always say for a defensive coach? When I click off this film, I better see 11 jerseys in the picture going after the ball carrier.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Williams. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on 2nd and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right. They did pick up the first down there, but as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game. They've got to get there twice to make sure they have a chance to win.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield, incomplete.
When you're leading in the final quarter, your radar has to be up for any potential deep shots. And probably not the last one they're going to see in this game, not as long as they hold this lead.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. And finding the tight end Hooper. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. That one going for a gain of 11 and a Bronco first down. You cannot write these guys off just yet, not with a quarterback like that under center.
You mean it actually crossed your mind with him running the team that you could actually maybe write this game off?
Not yet.
Not a chance. Not with him. We've seen it too many times.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45. Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Pass complete on the crossing route. This is Hooper. And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line.
Good yardage on the completion there. And when they look at the scoreboard, they do understand a field goal is not going to do them any good. My guess, they're going to press the ball downfield as far as possible, try and throw it into the end zone and get a score because they know they've got to get that done and get the ball back as quickly as possible.
And he'll be marked down right at the 20-yard line.
Well, partner, they've used him quite well out of the backfield in this one. And here's another nice example. They set up the screen, and he's able to pick his way downfield for a nice gain there.
They give it to Williams, running right. And he is going to lose yardage here. That loss of 3, a rare stumble on a promising drive. Here's 2nd and 13. Play action. It's Wilson. And his throw here's incomplete.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to hit the ball.
This offense so far on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Throwing the out route, incomplete. That's Patrick. And they'll hustle up to stop him well shy of the 1st, right around the 15. Here we go. It's Wilson on 4th down. That's caught left side by Judy. And the Broncos are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Wilson will throw again. And that is incomplete.
His back has been a dependable safety valve all game, so he went back to him when his first read was covered. Just unable to connect, so the play results in no gain.
Nothing on 1st down, so the ball remains at the 8-yard line, 2nd and goal. Now Wilson. Over the middle, complete. It's Patrick. The catch good for 6 yards, but now it's 3rd and goal. Here's Wilson. And that is caught. Touchdown, Denver. Tim Patrick from 3 yards out. And the Broncos have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th. The point after is good. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. This game back within a touchdown now as the kickoff's away. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And with that last touchdown, I mean, we're set up for a good finish here. Some things to consider, Charles. Obviously, it's a very close game here in the 4th quarter. Defensively, they've got all 3 timeouts in their back pocket.
So the chess match really ramps up, doesn't it? Because in these situations, what do? Do you run the ball and kill the clock here? Or do you try and bury them with another score? And how about defensively? Do you use your timeouts as early as opportunity? Or wait till you hit the 2-minute warning? So there's a lot going into this one. Let's see how each side goes about their strategy.
Mahomes hit. He lost the football. It's picked up by the Broncos. And can you believe this? A big mistake leads to a defensive touchdown. And they're a point away from tying this thing up. The extra point, a vital one, and he gets it to go. And we are tied here in the 4th quarter. So right back to square one, tied at 28 as he kicks it away. This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And this return will net positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. The KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Partner, you've got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here. Mahomes. To the sideline. Wow, what a catch. Doesn't get a lot out of it, but he is able to keep the feet in bounds. They should have got more out of that, though. He was wide open.
I love how emphatic you are with that call because that's exactly what I was thinking. Wide open in the flat. Give him a ball that he can use to get up.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Randy Gregory drops him for a loss of 10, and it's going to be 4th and long. Here's the Chiefs punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. .43 yards on the punt, return of 4, and the Broncos take over, 1st down and 10. They are in the 4th in Buffalo. The Bills, they're just pouring it on in that one. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. They need to get this around the 40 on the other side to get into field goal range. Look at the clock, a decent amount of time here in a tie game. What do?
No panic situation at all. They've got to get a couple of chunk plays, pick up nice bits of yardage.
Target the sidelines?
Target the sidelines because you want to get out of bounds and make sure that clock stops. Because if the clock stays running, that makes things that much tougher for you. It can always bleed out on you.
Being chased out left. And he'll just get rid of it. I see you nodding your head up and down. It's a very heady decision at this stage of the game. Out of the pocket, nowhere to go. Just get rid of it.
That's a smart play because you're not worried about your completion percentage, and you're also not trying to force it into bad traffic as well. Throw the ball away, live to fight another down.
Here's Wilson. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down. These are the spots, this stage of the game, where it pays to have speed on the perimeter, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and in the second quarter, he may very well run by him, but in this situation, I know as a defender, I'm loosening up a couple of extra steps that allowed him to run with him stride for stride.
Pass caught by Hooper. And they do get this across midfield to the 49, but a small consolation prize as he's well short of the 1st.
Excellent job there defensively. Gave up the underneath to the tight end on 3rd down, and they made sure that they did their job. Got him on the ground and prevented him picking up a 1st down.
They're going on 4th down. It's Wilson. That's to his running back, complete. And unable to break away. They stop him a few yards shy. The Broncos unable to convert here on 4th. And the Chiefs defense comes up with a stop. Boy, an incredibly aggressive move to go for it there. Game tied 4th quarter. You got to be surprised.
I am, and I know that we're in a new era of football where we look at the analytics sometimes, and a lot of time the analytics tell you to go for it, right? But do the analytics take into account game situation, where we are, all those things? In this situation, I thought it was an incredibly aggressive play.
It didn't work out, and again, tie game 4th quarter makes this thing a little bit more interesting.
I like the fact that he took the shot deep downfield. Even if you don't get the catch, maybe you get a defensive penalty and pick up the yardage that way.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Mahomes to throw it. He's going to take another shot here. And that'll be incomplete as it's knocked away. But a penalty flag is down. So who's this going to be on?
And even though that's 15 yards they're going to gain, this Kansas City offensive line has got to get together and say, got to do a better job protecting our franchise quarterback.
So now a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 after roughing the passer. Here's Mahomes. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Pat Surtain. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, we say it often, Charles, but not all interceptions are created equally, and that is a big one here in a tie ball game in the 4th quarter.
And Brandon, when games are this close, it usually comes down to the team making the fewest mistakes, and that was one of our mantras back at Tennessee. Coach Mears used to say all the time, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. You've got to cut those down to give yourself an opportunity.
And here in overtime, If the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. All set up for them right now, Charles. Opening possession of overtime. They've got the football. They also obviously have this home crowd behind them in a big way.
They get that extra energy from them, but they've got to be careful not to let that adrenaline get away from them and play too fast or create errors of their own making. Use that energy, embrace it, but make sure they channel it the right way. They've got a chance to go downfield, score a touchdown, and end this game.
In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line.
Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
On 3rd and long, it's Mahomes. He'll rifle this one deep right side. Oh, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Sidney Jones.
And the Broncos are going to take possession of the football. What a gigantic interception here in the first drive of overtime. And now, Charles, with where they're at on the field, I mean, they're already in field goal range to win this thing.
And the head coach is just talking to the special teams coordinator right now and saying, okay, where does he want the ball positioned? Because that's all you're going to do on offense. Move it to that spot. Make sure you take care of the football and probably 3rd down, kick the field goal, and try and win this game.
Following the penalty, it's Williams. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line.
51 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
That was huge after being behind the chains on 1st down to make this second very manageable.
Man, how much pride do you have in an offense on 1st down to get that kind of yardage? Because it actually opens up your playbook on 2nd down. You can run it, you can throw it, you keep a defense off balance. I like that phrase, staying ahead of the chains, and they're doing exactly that.
And that carry probably not so much for yardage, just to get the spot that you want to get the field goal.
And then the yardage game here is really kind of gravy, and this just becomes what my old coach used to say. Get into position to be in position. And that's what they want, the right spot for their kicker to line up the field goal.
That's going to be caught. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. Well, they were in search of a short gain on 3rd down, and they wind up nabbing over 20 yards.
Felton is going backwards as he'll be tackled back at the 4-yard line.
It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. Now a handoff. Here's Williams. And he is in for the score. And it is absolute stunned silence here as they win it on the road in overtime.
That was an excellent come-from-behind victory, Charles, especially there in the 4th quarter. Both offense and defense were clicking. They're going to feel good about this one.
Boy, are they ever, because the deficit they faced certainly wasn't small. They obviously did not give up on that one, and in the end, how about that come-from-behind victory? They'll cherish this one for a while.
So for the Broncos, there was a game